Connect with their rider. Their overall gentle demeanor. They are a wonderful horse for youth, for amateur. Each of these horses that are out here have a different history. They've come from different parts of the country. And they all have different life experiences. And the one thing that you can see watching them out here that they have in common is how quiet and gentle they are. We've got all the way, so there's Lottie over there. Lottie had come to us 20 days ago from Colorado. This is her first big public outing. This mare has not been shown previously. She has been at our ranch for the last 4 months. And this is a great example of how well she's handling this environment, getting to see all the new things, all these new experiences. She's a really good girl. So we'll start over here. If there's anyone who has any questions, go ahead and raise your hand and let us know. So this woman was wondering how tall do these horses typically get. As a general rule, you will see them primarily between 13.2 and 15.2 hands. Any height is allowable, and we are seeing mini banners becoming more popular in this country. This gelding here, so Sterling is 15 hands, 14.3 right in there. One of the neat things too in this breed, they appear a lot larger than they actually are because of how wide and substantial they are. Typically, like when I first met him, I would have sworn he was 15.2, and then I can stick on him and go, no. So
nice
they're
job.
So wide and proportionate that they definitely look a little bit larger than they are in reality. Sorry, I keep messing with this. Oh, that's a great question. So this lady was wondering what grooming product. I'm assuming you mean grooming products. So for us, we use Equifuse, and the Equifuse product line does an amazing job with it.
She's a mare.
We've been really happy with the results.
Beautiful.
They are not as difficult to groom as one would typically assume. We tend to keep their hair up in braids with their mane, tail, and forelock at home. Those braids are redone typically once every 6 to 8 weeks. And so we try to use products that are very hydrating. We want to use the most high quality products possible because the buildup of silicone on their hair can be very damaging to the hair. And that's just because that mane weighs a lot, and we don't want to put too much pressure on their neck, on their crest, and even on their spine, especially when it's braided up. It's a lot of pull to one side or the other. And if their mane is really heavy, we will braid it evenly on both sides of the neck. Yes, ma'am. That's a great question. So she was wondering, is the length of the mane genetic? It is partially genetics, and it is also partially maintenance and care. So let's see a good example here. So Lottie, for example, the 4-year-old buckskin that we have,
she's a really
genetically,
good,
she's not going to probably have hair that doesn't want to go all the way to the ground. Her mane maturity is going to be
really
right below her shoulder,
it's so funny,
which for me is ideal. I like a nice usable mane that isn't quite so much maintenance. Sterling's mane, we cut his mane every other month. And all of them, we cut their tails pretty much every 4 weeks. Every time, especially if they're braided, every time we rebraid their mane,
2 years ago,
or rebraid their tail, we end up
when I
cutting
first
it.
got on her, I was like, this is going to be interesting to show. Because she would be fine, and then all of a sudden just
Yes, ma'am.
sayonara. And it's really funny because
That was a great question. So this lady was wondering, can we barrel race these horses?
Very basics.
One of the hallmarks of the Gypsy Banner breed is how willing they are and how versatile they are. Could we go and lope a barrel pattern on them? Absolutely. Are they going to be competitive if you want to go and try and run a 1D pattern? They're not built for it. Now, they wouldn't hurt themselves in the attempt of getting it done if you asked for it. Because these horses have such a big heart. They will literally walk through fire if you ask them to.
So
which
undefeated.
in the wrong
She
hands
is like
can
insanely,
sometimes be
like she
difficult.
goes insanely
And to be
slow.
fair, I think that's with a lot of horses though.
Really nice teeth.
All of our horses, regardless of their breed,
But she's
they
a lot
want
of fun.
so much to please us. And we do need to be thoughtful about making sure we don't put them in situations where their desire to please us overrides their ability to take care of themselves and do what's best for their body and their conformation. Yes, ma'am. Are you fine? Great question. So she was wondering, do they need shoes? I would say this breed is, for the most part,
Does it all.
they will go barefoot. It really does depend on what type of footing you're riding them on. If you're going to be up in the mountains, on really technical rocky trails, I would let the horse tell me. But for the most part, I would put shoes on them for something like that. They do tend to have naturally really nice hooves though. And especially if they're riding in pretty good maintained footing, they don't need shoes. Like I said, each horse is going to be individual, but as a general rule, they do have really good feet.
Chestnut mares, and it's like, I have a red and white gilt. He's hotter than, like, people were like, gypsies aren't hot. I said, you can ride more.
All right, do we have it? So once we're done washing
Aquí
them,
estamos con Juanita y Margarito, miren.
Saludos para todos. Aquí andamos.
still soaking wet.
¿Cómo te la estás dando, Margarito?
Todo dar, oiga.
So
¿Sí, da?
with cornstarch,
Primera vez que vengo a un evento de
it
estos.
goes
evento
through,
de
it
estos, ¿verdad?
absorbs a
Sí,
lot of that
muy bonito.
moisture, and their feather
La
will
mera
be
verdad está
dry,
muy,
typically
¿cómo te
within
puedo decir?
30,
Como es muy
40
tranquilo,
Sí.
muy
Yes,
pacífico y muy ordenado.
Sales de la rutina y vienes
Sales,
a
sales de la
traerte un
rutina
poco
ahí.
aquí.
Bueno, les vamos a seguir compartiendo un poquito, así de que acompáñenos, ¿verdad, Margarito?
Saluditos para todos.
Saluditos.
A ver cómo jalan.
Sabe la sarta.
Yeah, where on the scale of development they kind of fall.
Que enseñarse, mostrar lo que
Yeah, absolutely.
habilidades,
This is a
pues.
great question. She wanted to know how long it takes for this breed to develop, both with mental maturity as well as physical maturity, structural maturity. They are fairly in line with a light horse. They are considered a small handling, and you've got to have a stud chain. And here's this guy, and he's like got his head hanging over his under his shoulder, and they're sharing. In England, one of the treats that they give these horses are loaves of bread. These horses
Es el que trae ahorita la muchacha.
they will do some wild tricks for a piece of bread. And when they met this stallion, they were just blown away. They're like, "This is a breeding stallion who lives out with mares." Yeah, my prize horse, my granddad's lines. And from there, that couple went and traveled. They went to Appleby Fair and a lot of the other fairs where the gypsy people would gather and show their horses off to each other. And they started staying with these families and learning the oral history and actually started writing it down and recording it. And so that's where a lot of our information ended up coming from. But I mean, as far as they've been, in that part of the world for 200 to 300 years. That's one of the reasons why they are were primarily piebald when we first found them, or had that Tobiano coat pattern. Because World War I, all of the solid color ones were taken by the military to be used in the war effort. And so the military didn't want a Tobiano because they didn't like it, it stood out. And so all that was left genetically for this breed were the Tobianos, because all of the solids were taken for the war effort. And sadly, as we know, most of those never come home. So that is also why that coat pattern is as popular and why we see that as much as we do. Yes, ma'am. I think that's to your point. So this lady had a question of, is it natural for this breed to be slightly cow-hopped? And in my personal experience, yes, I believe they are. And it is accepted for them to be set a little closer behind. Some of that comes from that draft blood. So they are a combination of Shire, Clydesdale, and then the native ponies come in Exmoor, Dartmoor. A little bit of Frisian in there. But from those draft horses, it goes back to what they were originally designed for, plowing fields. We wanted a draft horse to be able to walk in a fairly narrow pattern, to stay within the rows as they were plowing. And so that little closer set behind also helps with that pulling ability. And so it's like any characteristic should never be overdone, but it is acceptable in our breed to be a little closer set behind than the hawk. Hi, Solange. She's being really good today too. So this is actually Audrey's first time ever handling this filly. Well, yesterday was. And so Audrey is one of the newest members of our team. And like I said, it says a lot that she's handling this 3-year-old. And her and Solange are doing a great job together. Do you have anyone over here that has any questions I can answer? Yes, ma'am.
I think it's kind of weird question, but you said like they're going barefoot, right? What about boots? Because they kind of already have boots.
Well, that's a great question. So she was curious if they were going barefoot, can they wear boots? So I will say with the gypsy breed, you're not going to see a lot of polo wraps, sport medicine boots, any type of a boot that would cover the leg. You really have a lot of risk to the tendons because you're not going to be able to get the right wrap over all that hair. As far as boots for the hoofs, there are absolutely some owners who do choose to keep their banner barefoot and then use easy boots or squeak boots or something similar to that if they're going to go ride in really rocky terrain. In years past, before they really dialed in the sizing, I think it could be difficult because this breed specifically has a very wide range of size and shape for the hoofs. But with the technology we have today, I know a lot of owners who use the newer boots and are very happy with them. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Could you cover some of the disciplines that they typically participate in and do well in?
Oh, that's a great question. So this gentleman wants to know, what are some of the main disciplines that you see this breed in? So one of the things that makes the Gypsy Vanners so unique and why they're so popular is their willingness to do a little bit of everything. So, sorry, they were walking with purpose. I was making sure nothing was going wrong behind me. So we'll see them at the Gypsy breed shows, similar to quarter horses, Arabians, Morgans. You'll see halter classes, showmanship, equitation, horsemanship, trail, Western pleasure, English pleasure, dressage suitability, hunter under saddle, all of those types of classes. Outside of the breed show world, you'll find these horses competing in traditional dressage as well as Western dressage, working equitation. You'll see them at a lot of the open Rancho shows, combined trail events, equine trail sports, just to name a few. As a general rule, pretty much the only places you will not find Gypsy Vanners on a regular basis would be more specialized. So as you get higher up in over fences classes, most Gypsy Vanners are pretty comfortable through 2.6, 2.9, right in there, for 1,200 pounds at full size. But like using the ones that are out here as examples, Lottie's going to be about 9.75. Bo is a little chunky. He's going to be about, I'm trying to play after the journey. He's going to be around probably 1,100 pounds. Sterling, the large silver dapple, over here, he is 1,250. Mikey's going to be about 11.55. We have magazines and other promo information there. There will always be someone over there to answer any of your questions. We have a number of horses for sale. We also have a number of stallions standing at stud at our ranch up in Bangor. So that's right between Marysville and Orville, about an hour and a half from here. And we always love to be able to answer questions. Our ranch is always open for farm visits. If you want to bring your children up, just to experience the breed. It's not a requirement that you're looking to buy or looking to breed. If you just want to be around them, these horses truly are magical.
Margarito, ¿a dónde vamos?
Va a ser de la nieve, está haciendo calorcito, quiere refrescarnos.
Quiero refrescarnos, porque mira el caballito
All
cómo se
right,
mira.
before we finish up, if there's anyone that
Oye,
wants to
Margarito,
come
¿le
to
vamos a
the
traer una
fence
nieve al
and
caballo o
view
qué?
these horses
Hay que
up
traerle
close,
uno.
please
Quiero mostrar que
feel
también
free.
Para que se refresque, ¿verdad?
Hay calor.
You can come and
Hay
have a
saluditos
picture
para
taken
todos,
with
¿verdad,
them if
Margarito?
you'd like.
Saluditos para todos.
Se van a ver aquí el
And each
video.
of their riders
Cuco.
and handlers are
Aurelia.
happy to
Así,
answer
saludos
any
para ti,
questions
Cuco, la
you
tía
may have.
Aurelia.
Margarita.
Yes, ma'am.
Saludos para mi esposa.
Claro que
Saluditos,
sí.
saluditos para ellos.
Fresno.
Hasta Fresno, California.
Here or the ranch?
Ahí estamos.
Our ranch is in Bangor, California.